Hey there everyone, did you know that in the 1980s cruise ship travel exploded in popularity, with passenger numbers jumping to over 2 million annually? Crazy, right? So let's kick things off. Do you remember your first cruise? Was it a whirlwind of excitement, or did you spend more time getting lost on the ship than enjoying the view? Alright, let's dive in. This video is all about those nostalgic cruise ship experiences from the 80s. Now if you think about it, cruising back then was totally different from what we're used to today. Picture this: no smartphones, no fancy apps to help you navigate your way around the ship or book your excursions. Instead, it was all about good old-fashioned fun, making memories, and maybe a little bit of getting lost in the process. Now let's talk about the challenges of traveling in the 80s. Back then, technology was pretty limited. There were no smart TVs in every cabin, and Wi-Fi? Forget it. If you wanted to connect, you had to rely on those old pay phones, which, let's be honest, were not the most reliable. And while today you might find a spa, a water park, or even an escape room on a cruise ship, in the 80s amenities were a bit more basic. Sure, there were pools and lounges, but you had to make your own fun with whatever activities were scheduled. And let's not even get started on dining. Buffets were a big deal, but the choices were far more limited than what we see now. All of this shaped a unique cruising experience that was full of adventure, but also required a bit of patience and creativity. Speaking of experiences, let's explore what cruising was really like in the 80s. Onboard activities were all about socializing. You'd gather with fellow travelers for trivia nights, dance parties, and even talent shows where someone's rendition of "I Will Survive" could steal the show. Dining was a whole other experience too. The main dining room was where everyone dressed up for dinner, and you could enjoy multi-course meals, often featuring dishes that seemed so retro now. And let's not forget the entertainment. Live bands, magicians, and those cheesy but fun production shows were a staple. The atmosphere on the ships was electric, with everyone coming together to enjoy the journey as much as the destination. Now let me share a personal story that really captures the essence of cruising in the 80s. Picture this. I decided to take a cruise to the Caribbean. I remember the excitement of boarding the ship, the smell of the ocean air, and the vibrant decor everywhere. One night, they held a talent show, and I, who never sang in public, surprised us all by getting up on stage. I sang "Sweet Caroline," and the crowd went wild. It was such a thrilling moment, and the whole family was cheering him on. That night, we all bonded over laughter, music, and the sheer joy of being together, and it's a memory I'll cherish forever. As we wrap up this trip down memory lane, let's summarize what we've talked about today. The cruise ship experience in the 80s was unique and filled with challenges, but it fostered incredible connections, unforgettable moments, and a sense of adventure that many of us fondly remember. Before we end, I want to hear from you. Do you have your own nostalgic cruise stories? Share them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this little trip back in time, don't forget to check out more of my travel videos for similar memories. Thanks for watching, and happy cruising.